Okay, welcome everybody. It's November 28th, 2017. I want to welcome everybody to the weekly IBO broadcast that we have with ICB. And what I'm going to do tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about comparing Paradigm A or Plan A to Plan B. And just so you all can have a good understanding of how this all works, I'm going to probably do some old school stuff tonight. I'm going to, do some stuff on the marker board back here. But I want to show you a little bit on our BLC site. The Better Life Training Co-op is a training website that we put together to help people build organizations. And you'll notice on the slide that you see, or on the page that you see right now, the Better Life Co-op has three key components. At the top here, it's got the individual, it's got the company, and it's got the system. So those are the three components that make up a network marketing business. Those are the three components that we focus on in the Better Life Co-op. Of those three components, the most important one is the individual. Because network marketing is a people business. People move products. Products don't move people. So the key component of network marketing, the key component of Plan B or Paradigm B is the individual. On the bottom left, you see the company. Now, the company is important. The company's responsibility is to take care of producing products and putting together a compensation. And so, they're a key component, but they're not the most important component. The most important component is the individual. And then you see on the bottom right, we have the system. The system is actually more important than company, because the system is where you create the pattern that helps you put the people together. Because the definition of network marketing is it's a method of making money that works best with a whole lot of people all doing a little bit. And so you have to have the capacity to generate a whole lot of people to make a lot of money in network marketing. And what differentiates network marketing from direct sales and internet sales and affiliate marketing is that network marketing is based upon a whole lot of people all doing a little bit. And so when you're looking at a strategy to penetrate and dominate the marketplace, you've got to have a system. You have to have a system that's conducive with the comp plan that the company puts together. So one of the things that we try to teach people when you want to build a home-based business is make sure the company that you're dealing with has a comp plan that's conducive for the system that you're building. Now, if you're affiliate marketing, if you're looking to make front-side money, you're looking to sell products, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find a comp plan that's going to pay you a lot of money up front. But if what you're looking for is a residual income, if you're looking to build something one time and have it, create an income for a long period of time, then you got to make sure the comp plan supports that. And then, of course, the system that we put together with the BLC is to build network marketing companies. So as you're looking through the website, the BLC Co-op, and you're going through the homepage, watch this little video here. That's where we really explain to you the principles of network marketing, why most people fail. Then when you get into the introduction, it just lets you know, hey, we're just a group of individuals who are cooperatively working together to create a better life through buying power, through crowd clout. The reason we're not a product-focused program is because we know the life expectancy of a product is 3 to 5 years. It's like, for example, I'm bringing in a new product, into ICB. It's a secure product. It's got high demand product. It's a top of the market product. It's right time, right place, but it's only got about a 3 to 5 year life. And in fact, it's about every 10 months, it seems like you got another game changer product coming out. So if you think you're in the product business, then what you're always doing is you're looking for the hot product. Every 10 months, you're out pitching a different product, and you're never really building a network marketing business. You're really building a direct sales business. We want to teach you how to build an organization of people. And again, one of the laws of large organizations are made up of small groups. So we principally want to teach you how to build small groups of people that cohesively work together. And so the primary motivating factor for participation is not the products, but the primary motivation for participation is the dream, the desire that we have in our hearts, and then we're willing to buy stuff. And we'll roll that out to you as we roll through. When you click on the Getting Started tab, and you read through everything on the Getting Started, and this has got some really interesting components. Okay, I'm not going to get a whole lot in this, but if you want to become successful in network marketing, and you want to take advantage of all the benefits that there are in network marketing, one of the things you have to do is you have to have proper documentation on your disbursements. If you have the ability to have massive write-offs, the IRS allows you to have deductions way beyond the norm if you have a home-based business that you're running. And so one of the tools that we make available through ICB is an online bookkeeping system. It's kind of like an online QuickBooks. We call it the Cash Flow Manager, which is a tool we make available to our members. But I'm going to recommend everybody go ahead when you click on the BLC. Underneath the Getting Started, go ahead and watch the Kickstart. It's it's probably about a half-hour presentation, but it's going to teach you the attitude, the understanding of how to build a network marketing business that can last the test of time. And then when you get into Marketing 101, here's where we get into the different components. And again, as we got back to the homepage, we talked about the individual. Well, there are 3 different types of individuals who participate in network marketing. You've got the builders, we call them the producers. They're actually people who produce economy. And then you got the buyers. These are people who actually buy stuff. They have a dream and a desire to make money, but they basically only buy. Then you got the consumers. The producers, the buyers, or the builders, they're going to represent 65% of your business. 65% of your sales, 65% of your profit are going to come from those producers. Now, they only will represent about 5% of your market, okay? But 65% of their profit will come from them. You'll find out the buyers will represent about 15% of your market, and they'll produce about 15% of your sales. The consumers will represent about 80% of your market, but they only produce about 20% of your sales. So as you're strategizing this out, here's what we teach people: look for the builders, sign up the buyers along the way, and then you meet the needs of the consumers as you go. And so as you have this attitude and you understand this, and you'll learn all this as you're going through the Marketing 101 page, and you read all this, you start to realize, okay, this is pretty simple. And then we get to the pattern page, and the pattern again, when you're looking at the system that's put together to help you build a network marketing business that will last the test of time, you got to have a pattern that you follow. That pattern has to have a foundation of cement. It can't be on sand, because if you don't have a proper foundation that the pattern is built on, when the winds come and the rains come and all of a sudden the water rises, it's going to wash out your foundation and you will lose your business. So the foundation that we try to teach people when you build your pattern on is build it on self-concept, attitude, and beliefs. So as your people plug into your system to teach you what to do and how to do and why to do it, you want to make sure that the foundation that that the pattern is laid upon is on good, solid ground. And so get people listening to successful audio on a regular basis, watch successful videos on a regular basis, read positive thinking books on a regular basis, and then attend events like this and other things. I know, Tony and I see Joe, a bunch of the guys are on board tonight. They have events that they put on. You plug into those events, so that becomes the foundation. That becomes the foundation your pattern is built on. And then the pattern is a step-by-step process to help you build groups of 15 to 20 people. Because within those groups of 15 to 20 people, you're going to find that you'll probably have anywhere from maybe 3, 4, or 5 people who are actually going to become your producers. And then those 3, 4, or 5 people will then actually build an organization. And then you get into the system, and this gets back into really what we're talking about. And this is kind of what I wanted to get to when we want to compare Paradigm A to Paradigm B. Now, if you do go to the BLC website and you click on the System tab, I would recommend you watch this video, because this gets into detail what I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to lay out this on the board here. So let me go ahead and get rid of the screen share. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. And this is, and I remember the first time I got exposed to network marketing. I was golfing with a stockbroker buddy of mine, a couple other guys. At that time, I own a couple of retail stores. I was president of Chamber of Commerce, and normally after we get done golfing, we go and play poker and stuff in the clubhouse. And this particular night, I was talking with Joey. He said, "Hey, you be some playing some poker tonight?" He said, "No." He said, "I got to go to a meeting." I said, "Well, what kind of meeting?" He says, "Well, I don't know." He says, "I got invited over to Andy's house. He was the Pepsi distributor." And I said, "Well, what kind of meeting?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "He's just got a business idea. Wants to bounce off me." And I said, "Well, who's all going to be there?" So Joey named off about 4 or 5 other guys. Well, I knew them all, and I thought it was kind of weird that I wasn't invited and these guys were. So I show up at the meeting totally uninvited. So so I ended up going to the meeting totally uninvited, and this guy gets up on the board, and the first thing, and again, let me tell you one of the reasons I really went there, since I own retail stores, and I had general merchandise stores, and this is back in the day where Walmart was really expanding and really growing fast, and I had general merchandise stores. And so when Walmart would come in against us in our stores, usually we would lose our market share. So And so I thought all these guys were getting together. They found out Walmart was coming into my town, and they were buying real estate, going to develop some retail markets and sell real estate. And so I showed up at the meeting because if Walmart was going to come to town, I knew I was going to lose my retail store. And I'd rather make money, rather than lose money. So I got there thinking that Walmart was coming in. Well, the guy doing the deal, he talks for about 2 minutes, and I realized it wasn't Walmart. Here's what was exposed to me when I was first exposed to network marketing. And a lot of people ask me how come I was able to really have a good grasp of what this is. So the guy doing the presentation, again, I was not invited to the meeting. I show up in the meeting thinking they're, be talking about real estate development, and they were going to be, basically buying land and selling it to Walmart and put up additional, retail, centers around it. And then, the guy's talking, and the first thing he says, hey, we're going to talk about making some money tonight. He says, well, we're not going to talk about making money the old-fashioned way. And he draws a board. He draws a line down the middle of the board. And he says, we're not going to talk about making money the old-fashioned way. And he puts an A on the board. And he says, here's the old-fashioned way of making money. And he draws a pyramid. He says, how many of y'all been taught to go to school to get a good job? To get good, first of all, get good grades so you get a good job so you can make some money so you can, you can get a job, so you can retire. And, they all raise their hand. And he says, so if you really look at that, he says, the model that we're all taught to pursue in the what we call paradigm A or plan A is a pyramid, because there's more positions available at the job entry level than there are at the upper levels. And the higher you go, the more money you make, but the less room there is. He says, now there's rules that operate in paradigm A. And he says, the rules that operate in paradigm A are be, do, and have. He says, here's why all your high school guidance counselors, here's why your mom and dad, here's why everybody told you need to go to school, get good grades so you can get a good job. Because if this particular position opens up within corporate environment, and that's, let's say, a director of marketing or vice president of marketing, the only people who they're going to interview for that position who are people who have an MBA. So if you don't have an MBA, so if you're not an MBA, you don't even get interviewed for the position. So the first thing that happens in paradigm A is you got to have the credentials. If you don't have the credentials, you don't even have an opportunity to get the job. Well, if you got the credentials, you have the opportunity for the interview. Then you have to prove to them that you can do the task. So if you got the credentials and you got the capacity to produce and they hire you, then competition of the position determines what you get paid, and then that in turn determines what you really want to have. So for example, if your skill set and your capabilities, your credentials and your wherewithal to produce is worthy of $100,000 in the marketplace, then all of a sudden that becomes your lifestyle. It wouldn't make sense if this is your capacity, that you want to have these dreams that take this much money, because you don't have the wherewithal to get it in paradigm A. So that's why in the world they tell you, don't get your hopes up. Let's stop daydreaming. Let's stop talking about pie in the sky. You should be happy with what you got. That's why in paradigm A, everybody tells you go out and find something you like to do, because that's really, you're stuck with what you do. The credentials get you into the door. What you do determines what you qualify for, and then that determines that's your lifestyle. So as Kenny was going through this, and he says, this is a normal world. Well, that all made sense to me, because I own a couple of different retail stores, and I had more people that that were at minimum wage than were managers and all that kind of stuff, and I understood all that. He says, what we're going to talk about tonight, and he says, is a paradigm B, and he draws a V on the board. He says, here's the difference between paradigm A and paradigm D. In paradigm B, the higher you go, the more room there is, and the more money you make. He says, there's no limit to how much money you can make in paradigm A. He says, now the rules that govern paradigm B is first, what do you want to have? Then it's B, and then it's do. He says, so the first question you always ask over here, okay, realistically, first question, again, if you're in high school or you're talking to a teacher, your mom and dad, they always ask you, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? Because what you want to do will determine what your skill sets is, and that's how much money you can make. Then you go to school to get a good job or get a good grade, so you have an opportunity to get a job. Okay, never really once do they find out what you really want to have. They don't ask you, what kind of house do you want to live, what kind of car you want to drive, and what kind of vacations you want to take. It's more focused upon what you want to do. Well, over here, Kenny said the first thing we always ask people is what you want to have. If there's no limit on plotting your income down, how high would you plot it? And he says, once you figure out what you want to have, he says, then we got to look at what you got to be. And he says, what you got to be is not credentials. What you got to be is you got to become this person before you're going to get this. He said, so the focus is becoming this person. He says, then what you have to do really doesn't matter, because once you become this person who thinks this way, who has this attitude, who has this self-image, who has this belief, then anything that you want to have, you will get, because that's who you are. That you are this person. I notice I'm a little low here. Let me raise my thing up so you can see what I'm. There you go. So the dream is what you want to have. The focus is then becoming who you need to become, and then what you got to do doesn't matter, because you will automatically produce it, because that's who you are. So as Kenny was talking like this, I said, well, that's kind of cool. He said, so let me ask you questions. He said, how many people would, if you could plot your income dot, would plot a different dot? And of course, everybody plotted these dots up here, and he asked me what I want to have, and I really never thought about what I wanted to have, because I lived over here. I knew how much I was making. It didn't make sense that I'd want to have a 100 foot yacht. It wouldn't make sense that I want to have a second lake home down in Lake of the Ozarks, just because that didn't fit where I was. He said, well, if you could plot the dot and there's no limit, he said, what would you like to have? So I'd like to have a plane. So I started naming all this stuff off. He says, let me ask you a question. He said, Jeff, if you could get that stuff, would you really be fired up? I said, absolutely. He said, would you be willing to change from who you are to who you need to be to get it? And I said, well, yeah. And I said, well, how do you do that? How do you change? And he said, well, you change by, first of all, finding somebody who has this already, and then spend time with them. And then this is the part that hit me. I said, well, I would be willing to do that, but where the heck are they? I lived in a town at that time about 2,000 people. I says, I don't know anybody that has a jet here. I don't know anybody that makes millions of dollars. So where are they at? And then he says, Jeff, they've written books, they've made audios, they've made videos. Read the books, watch the videos, watch the videos and listen to the audios. And once you start listening and you start reading and you start thinking like them, then you can become them. I said, well, I'd be willing to do that. He says, now here's what's cool about this. He says, everybody wants to know what you got to do. He says, don't worry about what you have to do, because once you become this person, you'll have that. The path to get it will be there. He says, here's why most people who fail in our business, he says, because they come in from Paradigm A, okay, where they work and get paid. So they work 40 and they get paid. They work 40 and they get paid. They work 40 and they get paid. That's what they're used to. So when they come in over here, they work and they want to get paid, and they don't get paid. So what happens is they might work and they don't get paid, then they work some more and they don't get paid, they work some more and they don't get paid, and then they quit. Why do they quit? Because they haven't made the shift from Paradigm A to Paradigm B. They're still thinking about working and getting paid, working and get paid. Over here, you work, and then get paid. And then you work and get paid. Then you work and get paid. Then you work and get paid. Then you work, get paid. Then you work, get paid. Then you work, get paid. It never stops. But you first got to be willing to work first to plant the seed that can grow into this income. If you don't focus on your dream, if you don't hang with people who automatically think up here, then what happens is you default back to here. And no matter, even if you're over here, and here's what's crazy about this industry. We get all these people who live in Paradigm A who aren't happy with what they have. They want to get over here. And what happens is, if this is who they are here, this is also who they are here. And you will find out, if you don't change your self-concept, no matter how hard you work, you will always reproduce this, because that's who you are. The only way you change your self-concept from here to here is first have a dream to focus on, and then listen to people and hang with people who think up here. And then once you start to change, and all of a sudden this, by the way, there's a pretty thick crust around who you are. It's going to be tough to break through. Okay, I mean, and thank God, because if it wasn't thick up here, it wouldn't be thick down here. Everybody's got a comfortable bubble. They got this bubble they're used to living in. There's probably nobody on the broadcast tonight who would feel comfortable and think it's within their comfort bubble to stand out on the road with a sign that says, I'll work for food. That's not us. So what happens is what stops us from going down here also stops us from going up here. We have to break through this crust. We have to hit it. It's not going to be easy. Your self-concept, who you are, your identity is that's who your self-image sees you as, this person right here. One of the things I got from reading some success books. Okay, if your dream is to drive, let's say, an Audi, and your real car is, let's say, a 1995 Buick, okay, that's all rusted out. So you got this 2018 Audi. That's what your dream is, and you picture yourself driving that Audi. And then, but the reality is, you get out into the driveway and you put your keys into the ignition of the 1995 Buick. So your subconscious mind. Okay, you're trying to tell the subconscious mind that this is you, because once the subconscious mind believes you have and you're driving that Audi, you're going to drive that Audi, because that's you. That's who you are. But here's the problem. For one time, you picture your subconscious mind says, "Oh, I'm driving the Audi." Then you get off and you put the keys into the ignition of the Buick. So now all of a sudden the subconscious mind says, "Well, which one is it? Is it the Audi? Is it the Buick? Is it the Audi? Is it the Buick? Is it the Audi? Is it the Buick?" The subconscious mind needs to see you. Tell it which one is real. Is it the one you're driving out, or is it your dream? And the minute the subconscious mind believes that the Audi, the 2018 Audi, is yours, you will be driving the Audi. You don't have to figure out what you got to do to get it, because you will get it. The path will come to you. And I'll give you a little example. I was in the industry for 10 years. I read all the books, listened to all the audios, hung with all the people. I knew this principle. Okay. I lived over here. I owned a bunch of retail stores. I bought some more retail stores. I ended up with 9 retail stores over here. Then all of a sudden I made a decision. I want to build this thing over here. I loved what I was doing in my stores, but the potential over here was so great. I had to go after it. So after being in this business for 10 years, I really didn't have any business to show for it. I loved it. I loved the whole concept, but I never really went after it. But here it was September 21st, and I decided, there was a promotion that was put out by the company I was with, that you could win a trip to Hawaii, but you had to do so much in a certain period of time. And so I had this goal of going to Hawaii up here. Okay, I live in Hawaii. It's cold, Iowa. It's cold, and Hawaii was warm. So September 20th, 21, I made the decision. I'm going to Hawaii. Everything I did was focused on that. What I wanted to have, go to Hawaii. But here's what's kind of crazy. I didn't really care if I went to Hawaii or not. Some people are telling me, though, I can't get moved about my dream. I didn't care if I went to Hawaii or not. I just set it and focused on it. Here's what's crazy. Your subconscious mind don't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. All it knows is if you focus on it, and you act towards it, and you move towards it, which is an expression of faith, then the subconscious mind believes that this is real, and then it will manifest its physical equivalence, because that's the job of the subconscious mind. You don't have to think about your heart beating. Your subconscious mind keeps it beating. You have to think about sucking air, because the subconscious mind keeps your lungs working. Once your subconscious mind realizes you're going to Hawaii, you're in Hawaii, it's going to get you to Hawaii. So September 21, I went off on this quest to get here. Okay. Again, still operating over here, still have my stores, all that kind of stuff. But my focus was, I'm going to Hawaii. And so September 21, I started off in there, had to have the objective met by December 31st, which basically was like $50,000 worth of sales I had to generate by the end of December. In just 1 month, $50,000 in monthly sales in December. And my monthly sales in September was 0. So I set this goal way beyond my capacity to believe, okay? Way beyond my capacity to believe. But I set the dream, gonna get it, work my butt off, and I followed the pattern to a T. And at the end of September, I had nothing to show for it. But I didn't have no negative kick in my brain. I just realized this is what I need to focus on. I listened to the audios. I read the books. I watched the videos. I just kept reaffirming Hawaii, Hawaii, Hawaii. At the end of October, very little to show for it. End of November, very little to show for it. On the 10th of December, I still have very little to show for it. But all of a sudden, I had a hunch. I'm driving down the road, and I get the hunch to call this guy. That was this particular guy that I had the hunch to call. His dad worked for my dad about 20 years earlier. My dad owned some grocery stores, and he worked for my dad. So I went into this town, was actually looking for the guy that worked for my dad. But I seen Tim's name, so I called him and said, hey, is Jack around? He said, no. I said, well, my name is Jeff, blah, blah, blah. And so next thing you know, I'm over at Tim's house, and I'm showing him what I do. He got in December 10th, and he did I think he did over $10,000 worth of sales that was generated from that contact on that hunch. All of a sudden, a couple of days later, I'm going to another meeting down in Davenport, and normally, just had a hunch I should call home. So I called home, and my wife Linda said, hey, listen, so-and-so called, can't meet with you. And I said, oh, okay. So I had this hunch to call somebody else. Went over and talked. I called up, Don and Teresa. Don wasn't home. Teresa was home. Went over and talked to Teresa. Make a long story short, they did like $25,000 that month. Had another situation very similar to that. But here's the craziest one. I met a guy that was way above me, attitude, self-image, and belief structure. He was very influential in politics. I met him. I really liked him, but I always had the fear to call him. But I knew I needed to call him, so I'm sitting in front of my phone on a Saturday, was just fixing to go pick up the phone, and it was this guy. It was Charlie. He calls me. He says, hey, Jeff, how's everything? I said, hey, great. I was thinking about calling you. He said, hey, so I'm glad I got called you. He said, hey, listen, you want to come over to my house? He says, I got some presidential some people that are running for, the president come be over to my house. I want you, have you meet him. My heart sunk when he said, hey, are you doing anything Saturday? Because I thought, he'd already gotten in, blah, blah, blah. Make a long story short, he ended up getting in because I said, hey, here's what I want to talk to you about. And he got in, he did like $50,000 that month. So I went from nothing in September to being in Hawaii, qualifying to go to Hawaii by December. And here's why this is so important. Okay, I went from nothing to like, $50,000 in sales in 3 months. From nothing to $50,000 in 3 months. Had to maintain the qualification, $50,000 a month for 3 months in a row to go to Hawaii. So in December, January, and February, had to maintain the $50,000 a month. We met the qualification, and then guess what happened in March? In March, our business went back down. And this is crazy. Once your subconscious mind knows what your dream is, and you have become that person, it will give you the path to get it. All you have to do, guys, is figure out something to focus on. Whether you want it or not, doesn't matter. Whether it moves you or not, doesn't matter. In fact, I had a young couple that I talked to a couple of weeks ago, and they were having some marital problems. I said, guys, why don't you guys just act like you love each other? Well, we don't. I said, doesn't make a difference. Act like you do. Motions create emotions. So what happens is you maybe don't want to go to Hawaii. You maybe don't have anything you want to have. Well, just focus on something and just visualize it, affirm it, first person present tense, and then have faith towards it. That act of faith towards it will help you see yourself as if it's you, and then the subconscious mind, once it takes ownership of it, it's going to say, we don't drive no stupid Buick, we drive an Audi, and it's going to put you in the Audi. And then here's all you got to realize. Once you understand how Paradigm B works, get that dream done, go pick another one. Focus on it. You move from here to here by realizing it's the motivation of your dream that will move you, and then becoming who you need to become, and what you have to do doesn't matter. Over here is what you do counts for everything. The challenge that you have when we start pitching network marketing to the Paradigm A people is all they want to talk about is, what do I got to do? What do I got to do? What do I got to do? And how's that transcend over here? What are you selling? What are you selling? What are you selling? When people ask you, what are you selling? They're over here. What we do is we build groups of people who have a dream in their heart that they can't get doing what they're doing, who are willing to cooperatively work together to create a better life through buying power. So what we do is we build groups of people who are willing to buy stuff to get their dreams. We use companies to help people get their dreams. We don't use people to sell products. And once you get this, and you can make this shift, and you can say, what do I have to do? Have something you want to have. Maybe you don't want it or not, don't make a difference. Focus on it, visualize it, affirm it, and then have faith to go towards it. Do something to tell your subconscious mind that this is real. And as soon as the subconscious mind has bought into it and believes it, the path to get it will come to you, and then you act on the hunches. So basically, you're going to pay for your dream twice. You're first going to pay for the dream twice to convince the subconscious mind it's real. Then the hunches will come. And then act on the hunches. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and close the recording now. Give me 1 second here.